Good evening, everybody. Whoa, Doris. That's the fastest hello comment I think we've ever seen. I popped it up on the screen there. I just said hello, and bam, there she is. As I was saying, Blair Nightingale here. It's Monday night. That means it's Market Monday. We come together every Monday night, 6 p.m. Central Time. We're going to talk markets tonight, guys. Okay? We're going to talk markets tonight. NASDAQ made a new 2-year low today. 2-year low. Markets are moving down about 25% on the S&P 500. So you want to stick around tonight because I'm going to tell you why right now is the best time to learn to trade. Maybe some of my reasons I give you are obvious to you, or maybe more so obvious to you, but maybe not so much, right? If the markets are moving down, then that's a pretty good indication that maybe we need to learn what's going on, because if you have any market exposure, you're probably losing money right now, and you may not even know it, right? You may have a financial advisor and you've not heard anything from them. Maybe you have heard from them and you don't like what you're hearing. And I don't just mean that it's moving down. I mean that they maybe didn't give you a comprehensive plan for it moving down. How many people out there just heard this? It's moving down, so leave it alone. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, we here at Tradeway don't believe that. We don't believe that is the best approach. If it's moving down in a bear market, right, with terrible economic fundamentals, we've got earnings reports coming this week. Earnings are expected to continue to decline. We've got the Fed reporting this week, expected to continue to raise interest rates. We've got a GDP. Anybody out there know about inflation? We talked about inflation here on Market Monday as well, and we're expecting that reading this week. Who knows? Did it get better? Did it get worse? If it's basically the same as it was, my opinion, and I think it's an informed one, is that that's not going to be good news, right? That's going to be bad news because the Fed keeps raising those rates. They're trying to bring that down. If it's staying static, that's not good. What am I saying? Plenty of reasons that are not just opinion to say, I need to protect what I have, but not only protect what I have. And I want to talk about that tonight because wouldn't you know it, right now is the best time to learn to trade, because any time's a good time to learn if you don't know what's happening to your money. But specifically, the season we're in right now is a time when there is a lot of good opportunity. And it's a time when many think this is a terrible opportunity because we've been conditioned to believe that bear markets are negative. They're just dark clouds over our 401k, IRA, Roth IRA, whatever it is, right? And the quicker they go away, the better. Well, I will say here at Tradeway, it's not that we support or promote or want the country to go through recessions. But we also understand that there's an economic cycle and things do go through recessions. Can we take advantage of that, right? Can we use this time wisely and redeem this time? Because maybe there's some opportunities and maybe there's even greater opportunities around the corner. There's a friend of mine that says of course, this is an old quote, but he first said to me, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. And it's a little bit of an intense statement. The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. Now is the time to be ready, to be equipped, to be trained for what is possible in the stock market. And if we aren't equipped, now that the markets are tanking, right, pushing it off and waiting even longer doesn't make it better. We're just going to miss the next opportunity that we needed to be prepared for, right? And we don't want that. So let's take a look at the chart real quick. I mentioned the NASDAQ, and here we are. Zoom in a little bit. It went even lower, you can see there, but it's at a fresh 2-year low. I could even, let's take this line, just extend it a little bit. For those of you who haven't joined us before, what I'm doing here is just a little bit of technical analysis. You can see hits the ceiling, drops, hits the ceiling, drops, 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 right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a major index has hit that and dropped again, making a fresh low. The S&P 500, not quite. Let's do that zoom again, shall we? Boom, hitting the same low and holding there. We'll see. Like I said, lots of news coming this week, but no question, we're way down, right? We're way down there, guys. And that's just from this high here. We've really moved down from here. If we go to a year, we're up here at 4,800, now down at 3612, right? 1,200 points approximately, right? On a 4,800, 25%. 25% of the S&P with plenty. And this isn't, I'm going to use the word fear mongering, but look at how high this went after COVID. We've talked about this a lot, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time here. I just want to say, as we set the context for this, even down into this level right here, which is 3380, you say, what are all these numbers you're rattling off? It's just the value. It's telling me where the index is at. We were up at 4,800, right? All-time highs, 401ks, IRAs, right? How much, I have to say this, how much did you make last year? In your 401k, in your IRA, how much did you make? Now, really all of us should be saying something double digits. The S&P returned 25% last year, okay? Should be something positive. I've met people in the last 6 weeks, they didn't do that well last year, and they're getting crushed this year. Now, how is that? They're paying an advisor to have them in the market, and they didn't do well in one of the best years the S&P has ever had. And now that it's down, they get the downside? No. This can't go on this way. If that's you today, then my invitation to you is an upgrade, right? Learn how to take control of your money so that you can do for what you care about more than anyone, right? Nobody cares about your money more than you do. So you can do for it what others might be failing to do for you, right? So that's what this is all about. But now, right now is the best time, Now I tell people, I started in 2015, right? I sat in a class. I knew absolutely nothing about the stock market in 2015. And now I look at this market and I think I've been waiting for a bear market, a real bear market, a real recession, which has to come at some point. Again, it's not that we're pulling for a recession. Yeah, let's go. No, but when it happens, it does some things that are very unique, and traders know how to take advantage of those unique conditions, right? They also know how to weather the storm. And that's what I want to talk about for your benefit tonight, because I don't want you to miss out on anything like that. Okay. Like I said, been waiting. And of course, since 2015, we haven't had a recession. I don't count COVID. COVID was a month down and then all the way back up. It was very unique. There was no doubt there was a lot of opportunity in COVID, but that's not really what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a real recession, a real bear market crash. Why would that mean that right now it's the best time to learn to trade? I'm going to give you 3 reasons tonight. Okay. 3 reasons tonight why we believe now is the best time to learn to trade, other than right now is the best time to learn to trade whenever it is, right? Other than that, because we really do believe that any time is a good time. And let me just challenge you with this. Why wouldn't now be a good time? Why wouldn't now be a good time to learn to protect and promote your finances, especially when you're not sure what someone else is really doing with them? Why wouldn't now be a good time? I challenged some students in Chicago this past weekend to say, we can come to a place where we know what we don't know. I know what I don't know about my money. Where we don't want to be is I don't know what I don't know about my money. It's not great that I know I don't know what my guy is doing with my money. I know that I don't know how to protect my money in a crash. I know that I'm not prepared to take advantage of the markets in these coming seasons. I know that. So that's not great, but at least you know. Because once you know, you can grow, right? You can answer those questions. When you don't know that you don't know, or perhaps we've learned for whatever reason to think, you know what? I don't think I care. Right? Well, that goes back to our stewardship before God. We have money, and that money has a purpose, right? It does have a purpose in the kingdom of God. So we want to be good stewards of that. So we want to move from not knowing that we don't know to knowing that we don't know, and then coming into what we need to know. And that's, of course, what I'm going to cover. Now, number one of three. Now is the best time to learn to trade because for traders, volatility is opportunity. For traders, volatility is opportunity. Now, contrast, for everyone else, volatility is fearful and frustrating. It's fearful and frustrating. This is how politicians can come on TV and say that they're just going to do whatever it takes to prop everything up, right? We'll do whatever it takes because they're speaking to the fearful and the frustrated among us who think that the market should always be doing this. And that if it ever does this, we've got to get out of that at all costs because we feel powerless. We're losing money. And that creates fear and frustration. Traders don't see the market that way. Because of what they know how to do, they recognize volatility is opportunity. Because what do you need when you do a trade, right? And there are multiple different kinds of trades. We even did an options preview earlier this year to give you an example, I should say several examples of how options create different ways to profit from the stock market. Okay, you can always go back on YouTube and watch those previous episodes. But no matter what the strategy is, as price moves, that's how we make money. That's how we make money. In some cases, we really don't want the price to move at all. We can do trades where when the price is flat, we profit, which is pretty interesting. But in many cases, high volatility, lots of movement, big moves up, big swings down, back and forth. That can be scary and frustrating for most people, but for traders, those big swings mean big opportunities because they make money when the market swings, right? For the untrained person, seeing it on the TV screen, wherever you're at, you see it on the TV, well, the Dow is up, oh, the Dow is down. It's just numbers. For traders, those are movements in price that can make them money because that's what volatility can do. See, when I have knowledge, it unlocks perspective. That perspective can mean that I have peace in the storm or I have anxiety in the storm because what I understand about what's happening is very different from one to the other. Traders have opportunity, right? The most common strategies that traders use can benefit from volatility, but they take advantage of these price changes with unique strategies and typically shortened time frames. They don't believe in buying and holding stocks in this time, right? Now, there is some ways for long-term investments, protecting long-term investments. I'm not saying everyone everywhere liquidates everything just because there's volatility. I'm not saying that, but I am saying when it comes to short-term trading and the ways that they can use volatility as an opportunity, they're not just buying and holding, right? Holding on to stocks as they sink and sink and sink towards the bottom. We talked in recent weeks, where are we going? 30% down, 35, 40, right? If I go back to the chart, let's even just use this, right? Well, what if we just go back to the COVID highs? This is just pre-COVID, right? 3,400. What about lower than that? What about these lows here right after COVID? Right? That's a pretty significant 3,250, right? Essentially another 400 points down. What about the bottom here? There are some experts out there. I mentioned a few of them on a previous episode, right? I've heard recently Michael Burry from The Big Short, if you guys are familiar with that, who predicted fundamentally, based on numbers, he predicted a high probability that the housing market would crash. And it did, 2008. Now he's commented, I don't know if he's changed these comments, but he's commented he expects these lows you can see on your screen right here. Does that mean that will happen? We don't know, right? That's his opinion, right? Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has even said, right? I've been told this. I was not told this directly by him, but I've been told this by people who have worked with him, that he's expecting 90%. 90%. Now, at Tradeway, we're not speculating about whether it's 90%, right? And perhaps that's overinflated from what was actually stated by this individual. I don't know that for a fact. I do know that there is high reason to expect significant more downside. Again, this isn't about fear. It's just a reality. Fundamentally, we're looking at some pretty bad numbers. Okay, so we could see something like that happen. Now, with that said, we're not buying and holding to the bottom. We're trying to take advantage of this. So these strategies can be used to capture those rapid price movements. Now, those price movements tend to be quicker. So some of these strategies are used to capture quicker movements. For example, the debit spread can be one of those shorter term debit spreads. There's safe ways and what we would consider unsafe, too much risk ways of doing these strategies. But no question, the volatility can be an incredible opportunity. We can be very flexible as traders getting in and out of the market because we don't believe that the only way to approach this is to buy and hold stocks. Okay. We also believe in taking trades that are base hits, not always home runs, right? I'm going to give you an example right now. One of the stocks, it's not in the list here. One of the stocks we've been following, let's make sure you can see it. You can't see it. There you go. Right? Is IBKR. You can see it moved into the support level, made a very nice move where? Up to this previous high. Before it's starting to see a little bit of a sell-off. It hasn't dropped much yet. But one of the discussions we have with our traders around this particular stock is, all right, here's a directional strategy that's actually seen some nice follow through, but we have to have some methods, not complex, but important methods to manage the profits that we would have in a trade like this, because we're okay in this bear market environment seeing something like this and taking base hits, we call them, not just home runs. This isn't the maximum target we would expect. That would probably be more up in this resistance area here around, I don't know, let's say $74, $73.50 perhaps, right? That's still another $4 of appreciation in the stock price, right? But in this environment, we have to have some risk management strategies that are specific to this kind of volatility. So traders have a skill set, but that skill set can turn volatility into opportunity. That is number one. Number two, why is now the best time to learn to trade? Because as traders, right? For traders, we have ways to profit on the downside. Now, we've talked about this in our options preview, but it bears repeating at this point in time because we looked at the S&P 500. There it is right there. Let's zoom in. Where's it going? It's going down. We looked at the NASDAQ. Where's it going? Oof, this one's really going down, right? We hit this level here. Actually, there's our all-time high right there. 16,750. I'm rounding to about 11,000, right? So think about it. It's at, again, if I'm rounding, it's about 17,000 was the level it was at. Now on the indexes, we don't say dollars. It's an index. We say points. Okay. So really the NASDAQ here, this is the NASDAQ 100. It's at about 16,500 at the highs back here. Now at about 11,000. So think about that. That's a significant drop. If you've got a retirement account out there and you saw a drop that's equivalent to that, right? Now, this is just in the NASDAQ, but if you've got anything even close to that, 20, 25, 30% plus, that represents a significant portion of what you've been working to build over time. So to not have some way to A, protect your money, and B, even potentially profit in the downside, that cannot be the best thing for our money, right? The best thing cannot be to not know. And now, perhaps for some of you, you're coming into a place as I'm talking that you know you don't know. You didn't know that you didn't know, but now you know that you don't know. Don't know what? That you can protect your money by using insurance in a downturn, right? We can use put options. We can go to cash. There's different ways we can do that. And there's discussion around how to do that. But that is something that professionals do and have been for years. In fact, put options were designed as insurance. At Tradeway, we talk about them a lot. And the second thing I'm going to say is that we can just use them to profit from down moves. But put options were designed to profit in down moves as insurance. Insurance for what? For stock positions, right? So how about that? You didn't even know there could be insurance on stock positions. And of course, this conversation comes up a lot right now because the market continues to move down. I continue to meet people every week through what I do here at Tradeway that have balances that are getting lower and lower and lower. And not only does that mean money given back to the market, but it means capital they don't have for growth in the future, right? We have to come to a point where we say, you know what? That's just not good enough. If there's other ways to do this, that's just not good enough, right? Number two, I said, because traders have ways to profit on the downside, not just stock on the upside. That's why now is a great time to learn, because we've got consistent downside movement. So if all we know how to do is buy stock, then we're either trying to force that in this market, which requires a very particular skill set. It's not impossible. I just showed you guys IBKR. It's an uptrend, right? That's an outlier, but primarily stocks are moving down. So put options are also part of that skill set and that perspective change that causes traders to say, this is actually potentially really good, right? In terms of how we can approach this price action. Instead of, like I said, fearful and frustrated, right? We want to get out of the fearful and frustrated camp and get into the opportunity camp. That's what we want to do, okay? The second one is that we can potentially profit on the downside using put options. There's a whole lot of P's there. One, because volatility is opportunity. Two, the downside has some upside, right? That's number two. But number three, the reason why right now is the best time to trade, and perhaps, guys, the more I think about this, the more I think this is potentially the best answer of the three, okay? Because it's the one I've not thought of as, I think, heavily or weighty as I think I should have, and I'd like to share that with you as well. Number three, because traders understand that when the markets move, let's get the market up there. They understand that when the markets move down, it's simply a price reset. See, remember the first two things I said. Volatility is opportunity, and protection and promotion are in their skill set. So they're not doing a buy and hold, buy and hope, sink down into the lows where they just lose a huge portion of their capital. That's not what they're doing. So because that's not what they're doing, they're preserving capital. Now that's a different starting place when what happens? Well, if a market crashing is simply a price reset for the trader, what's a reset? It's when stocks become cheap, right? They're very underpriced eventually. I don't know when this will be, right? I have reasons why I think the market will turn around and recover. And I did that in a previous episode, why I believe or what to watch for to tell us that the market is turning the corner. This isn't crystal ball talk, but these are fundamental reasons why if those things start to happen, you can be sure that we're going to start seeing some positivity and some change in stocks. Okay, the when is really the question there, right? So we've got to stay plugged in for that conversation as it unfolds through the end of this year and, of course, into 2023. But a price reset means stocks are cheap. Stocks are cheap. And we haven't had that kind of an opportunity after a major move up for a long time. A long time. We haven't had this bear market. That's why I said when I started, right, I've been waiting for something like this to happen, both in stocks and to see what kind of opportunities present itself in other areas of our economy as well, potentially even thinking real estate, right? Now, that is a separate conversation to a degree, even though there is some correlation there. We'll see. But as prices come down in anything that's very inflated, which, by the way, both real estate and stocks last year, very inflated, very hot markets, right? As that comes down, the trader looks at that and goes, I'm really glad I'm ready for this opportunity. I'm really glad I know how to take advantage and manage myself so that I can be successful in an environment that's ripe with opportunity, because post-recession stock markets are ripe with opportunity, right? And we can teach you ways to approach that. They're not hyper-technical, guys. This doesn't require your economics degree or an internship with Goldman Sachs, okay? Sometimes Wall Street wants us to think that it's that kind of complication, but it's really not. It's really not. While everyone else is losing a lot of money in the crash, you could learn to navigate the crash well, or at least better, right? Our goal here at Tradeway is well, but education is there to at least move us forward and get better. Do everything that you can do. But beyond that, have a crucial skill set for the next bull market, right? Have a great skill set for the next bull market. So we're navigating now well, but we're also investing in tomorrow by being ready for the next season of the economic cycle. Okay. These are all important things that traders carry in their expectation of this season, right? Again, while everybody else is fearful and frustrated, you can be prepared. I'm popping a link in the comment box, both on Facebook and YouTube. Anybody out there wants to join me, I'm putting in a link to sign up for a topical webinar that we're going to do on right here on Zoom. I'm sorry, I was just pulling something up here. October 18th, right? We're going to be joining one another, and I'm going to give you a free session on understanding the foundations of actually getting an edge in the stock market, right? We're going to do this in a bear market context. So you'll want to click on that link, sign up, join us for the topical webinar. Come on out. I'm going to teach you some things you're going to want to know on there to help prepare you. That's what we're here to do. So please join us for that. If you have enjoyed this material, please on Facebook, you can comment as well. Let us know what you thought of this video. Share it with a friend on YouTube. Of course, you can ring that bell, subscribe, and let us know what you thought as well. We would love to spread this to as many people as possible. If you got somebody that you know needs to hear this, please send that out. I've looked at plenty of accounts in the last 3 to 5 months, right? Where the market's really been moving down, where honestly, people just don't know. They know they're losing money, but they don't know why. They don't know what's happening, and they don't know what to do. And you know what? Most people don't ask their advisor anything. And you know why? You probably can guess, because they don't know what to ask, right? It's important to have an environment where you feel like you are seen, you are valued, and you are empowered to ask the questions or get the questions answered that you don't know how to ask, so that you can protect your money and do better for the future. That's why we exist. That's what we want to do for you. And that topical webinar is just another step to do that, guys. Run the race, Mark says, thanks. Thanks, Blair. I'm glad I'm in the opportunity camp thanks to Tradeway, right? That's the thing. You're growing. You're growing. You're learning how to do that. That's the most valuable thing I've taken from this community. Of course, that's what we want to share with you guys. I appreciate you all joining us here on Market Monday. I know we'll have some friends out there joining us on recording. So hello and good evening to you as well. Maybe good morning, depending on where you are and when you see this. This will be online forever. I appreciate you one way or the other joining us here. Market Monday. We're back next week, as always, 6 p.m. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time.